Hi guys, welcome back. It's Mrs. Peterson, that lady who teaches art, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pinch pot. So each of you is going to start with a sphere of clay or a ball of clay that's already been wedged. I had the students already do that. So this ball is ready to be turned into a pinch pot. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to roll it into a really nice ball so that it's nice and round. And if I roll with both my hands, I can get it kind of round. Now my hands are a little dry, so I want to get them wet. I don't want them to be dripping wet, but we like to have shiny hands, okay? So it should be a little shiny, but not dripping wet. If they get too wet, you can wipe them off with a towel, but that's how you want your hands. So we don't want our clay to dry out. Once I have my ball nice and spherical, then I'm ready to start making the pinch pot. I'm going to take one of my thumbs, and I'm going to push it down in the middle, and then I'm going to start pinching around the sides. I'm using the pads of my fingers, which is this part, not the bony tip right here. I'm using the pad part where my fingerprints are. And I'm going to pinch all the way around. I'm just going to move it in a circle and keep pinching, okay? And I want to start at the bottom. So I want to get my thumb down in here. And as soon as I can get two thumbs in, I'm going to put two thumbs in. And I'm going to start by working on the bottom of the pot. There's two things with the bottom of the pot. Oh, I'm going to stop a minute. My hands are getting dry again. Can you see how dry they are? They're not shiny anymore. I'm going to get a little more water and keep them shiny. Okay? Remember, if they're dripping wet, you want to dry them off, but mine are not. They're just shiny, so I'm going to keep going now. I'm going to go to the bottom of my pot, and there's two problems. If I leave it too thick, the pot will blow up and shatter into a million pieces in the kiln, and it might take out someone else's pot with it, or even one of the big kids' art projects. And so that would be a bad deal. If we make it too thin, we'll poke a hole right through the bottom, and then it won't really be a pot. It wouldn't hold anything. The liquid that we put in it would fall right out. So we want it to be about Oreo thickness. If you can picture how thick an Oreo cookie is, we want that to feel the same width between my thumb and my finger down here. And I'm almost there. So I'm just going to keep twisting around. I'm not working at all right now on the side of my pot or the top of my pot. I'm just staying right down at the bottom. Okay, my clay is getting a little dry, and so are my hands, so I'm going to get my fingers wet again. And once I have the bottom where I feel like, yep, that's a good thickness, then I'm going to come up and start doing the side, the very bottom of the side. So I'm just working my fingers around, pressing between my finger and my thumb to get the clay spread out and thinner. And stay at the bottom until it's Oreo thickness all the way around. I have a thick spot right here, so I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to keep twisting. I'm going to get that worked into Oreo thickness down there. Okay. Then I'm going to start working up the wall of my pot to make sure that it's Oreo thickness everywhere. I've got a big, thick chunk right here. I can hold the pot with this hand and work with the hand, my hand that I write with, and mine is my right hand. For some of you, it might be your left. But I don't want to press any more down here because it's already the right thickness. So I'm up on the wall now. And as soon as I feel like that's Oreo thickness all the way through, then I'm going to do some finger ironing. I'm going to get my hands wet again because they're starting to get a little dry. They're not very shiny. Finger ironing is where I take my finger and I smooth out everything all over my pot. So there's no bumps, there's no cracks. And I need a lot of, my finger needs to stay wet while I'm finger ironing. That will help. We don't want it dripping wet, but again, we just want it to stay satiny. And a lot of it will get sucked right up by the clay. When you're done with the inside, the outside, you can do the inside. And I just want to hold it in one hand and then rub with the other hand. Get all those little finger marks out. I can even see little fingernail marks in mine where I pinched and my fingernail must have hit the clay. Push all those out. Make it nice and smooth. And then your second to last thing, you're almost done with this pot, is to work on the lip. For the lip, I want to take my finger and my thumb, get them wet, and I want to push up and make it round. So as I go around, I want to make this lip round. And if I have a really dry spot like I do right here, I'm going to add water back. Push around. Okay. When you feel like your lip is all worked out, then you are going to do your very last step, which is going to be to turn it over and sign the bottom. And my bottom right now is pretty round, and I don't know if I want that because it might fall over. So what I'm going to do before I sign it is I'm going to turn it back right side up, and I'm just going to give it a couple taps on the table so that I have a nice flat spot for it to sit. Okay? And then I'm going to sign my name. My initials are E-A-P, signing with this needle tool right in the middle. And then we're going to put a number 1 because you're in first grade on this. And then this finished pot is going to go sit in the windowsill. When you set it down, make sure that you set it, if it kind of blobs like that where it's kind of smushed, you want to set it back around and then let it dry. When it's dry, I'll put it in the kiln, which is the big oven for the clay, and it will get cooked so it's hard. All right, guys, I can't wait to see what you create.